Next up on the menu, we have the consequences of street life. Street life, still the wrong scene, but hey, we gonna roll with it. It's not worth it, man. Niggas that try to act like thugs in the big 26, like, bro. Come on, man. We got bigger things to do. Niggas trying to act like thugs in the big 26 is so corny to me, bro. It was corny to me back then, and it's corny to me now. Cause why are you trying to be intimidating and act like a thug, bro? You are literally setting niggas back because you want to be all hard and shit. And you don't just have like the aesthetic. You are like rah-rah with people and shit. You're like uncomfortable to be around. And that shit just blows. With all that being said, let's get by the video. Talk to me.
So every day we're getting a new example of why being a part of this street, you know, gang culture is one of the dumbest things you can involve yourself in. There are only two outcomes to this lifestyle: death and prison. There is no other way around it, especially in 2026. So about 2 years ago now, the rapper Julio Fulio was killed. Now let's get this straight. This guy was no saint. He was heavily involved in the streets and he got one of the outcomes. But with the way he went about being killed, the people that did it, they were extremely sloppy and ended up getting caught pretty fast. A few days ago, these guys were sentenced and found guilty. So right here we have a clip of all of the accused murderers. On screen right here is the youngest, I believe, named Sean Gathright. In this clip, the judge listed off all the charges of each individual and they were found guilty. But what I want to focus on is the reaction of this individual right here. So as y'all can see, man, this brother is crying. The reality has hit him. His life is gone. For what? At the cost of another black man.
And this is the thing that they don't say in the thug shit and then like the street life. When you go away, all that shit goes with you. You're not connected. Like most of the time, the niggas you was clicked up with doing the same shit with, they're nowhere to be found, bro. And that's what the saddest thing is. They're nowhere to be found, and yet you are in the Stony Lonesome in the clink doing all this time while they just get to breathe free air and shit. Do free world things. Crazy, man.
I don't know how many times people got to see examples like this, bro. In this exact moment, he's feeling what pretty much every prisoner in that cell is telling you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We watch shows like Beyond Scared Straight. These people all say the same thing, man. Stay out the streets. Don't do this. Don't do that. But we keep seeing so many brothers still fall for the trap. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm a person that understands history. I know everything that black people have been through. A lot of the conditions and all of the disenfranchisement has birthed street culture that we see today. But I tell all my brothers this, man, we know what they did. We know how evil these people are. We know the traps that they set out. We cannot keep falling for it. We cannot. And like I stated, bro, the crime that these dudes did, what was it for? Y'all killed another black man. We go so hard and we slide on each other for, you know, for damn near nothing. But like I state, bro, we still got people like George Zimmerman running around here. We still got the racist white dude, Chud the Builder, walking around calling people the N-word, and he's still untouched. But a lot of these dudes...
Well, not as of recently. As of recording this video, that nigga's in jail for 60 years, and his bond is 1.5 million. So he did get touched quite drastically.
Street dudes, you know what I'm saying, specifically, right, is ready to slide over nothing. You saw a dude one day walking down
I get what he's saying, though. Like, I don't understand why. Like, and this just goes to debunk white people being scared of black people even more. Because if anything, black people have more reactionality to be scared of black people than white people. And you want to understand why that is? These people that are thugs and like want to be down and shit, they are quicker to do that to a black person than a white person. I need you to know that. And that's what's most unfortunate. Right? Obviously, we have a lot of solidarity within the black community, but we also have a lot of people that think that this thug shit is fun, and they think this thug shit is the way to go, right? And I'm not saying you don't have that in every community, but you do. But it is something that's prevalent in the black community, and niggas try to idolize it, like they try to be like it. And then when it doesn't work out, they're surprised that it didn't work out, even though they had all these millions of other black people telling them, hey, bro, that shit is not cool. Ain't gonna work out. You sent us back, bro. And it's just sad, bro. It really fucking is, because how are you so quick to kill another black person? Like, you don't see any solidarity in that. Another human, let alone. Holy shit.
He looked at you wrong. Now he dead. For nothing. But if it was one of these white dudes walking down the street with him with the, hey, sir, how you doing, sir? Like I say, not wishing death on the white dude, but it's like, it's no way he should be walking around doing that. But we got some real certified crash outs out here that'll kill their own brother. Like, I just don't understand that shit. But that's why I do go so hard for the black community when a lot of these white dudes get online talking about they scared of black people, bruh. Sad thing is, dog, you not gonna get touched. If anything, they gonna praise you, you know, walking into the hood or walking around a lot of these black dudes, bruh. It's just something embedded in the community. We are taught to hate each other while to respect and love everybody else.
So this is that boy Shine Gay Fright. And word is this nigga come from a loving family.
Man.
From the crib, his mama and his peoples got bread. Real money.
Man.
Grandma house. Nice as fuck. Real money. I'ma keep it a band. I have no clue on how this young nigga got mixed up into the street life. But goddamn it, what a way to go. They said this man provided all the guns. He the motherfucking arsenal.
What?
Goddamn. And he the shooter. He provided the ratchets and he put one in his hand and put that bitch to use.
What? And he's 18 too. So Fulio was what, like 26, 27? I'm pretty sure he ain't even, you know, he
had his whole life ahead of him. Wow.
Really have any personal beef against him, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Fulio did something to his friends associated with him, but on a personal level, bro, you doing all this, he never did anything to you, you know, per se. And he went that hard, the youngest. And for what, bro?
You came from a loving household, boy. You lived in a nice neighborhood, nigga. And you chose the street life. You chose to follow behind 6 Block and ATK and 1200. Boy, they about to cook your ass, you hear me? They gonna fricassee fry you, young blood.
And this is a clip from the interrogation room, man. This dude was going through it. Let's just watch the clip right fast.
Let me out, bro. Let me out, bro. Bro, let me out, bro.
You're gonna be doing that shit in prison too.
Let me out.
Nah, gang, you gotta feel this.
Like he's trying to escape and shit up in there. It's crazy, bro. This is what happened when you get alone and you know what I'm saying? You separated from all your friends and you just gotta sit there with your quiet thoughts. And you start thinking, damn, I really threw my life away. I really did this shit. Like that shit started to sink in. When it's just you by yourself, you ain't around your friends no more. You ain't around none of that. Those thoughts get to eating at you, boy. And you just realize how dumb that was. In that split instance, you threw everything away.
Sit in that chair and don't move.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. I wouldn't be surprised if that young man harmed himself in prison because everything is just crashing down on him now. He knows that his life is over. And hopefully, man, anybody that's watching this video and involved in the streets, you realize that this life is not what it's meant to be. I try to tell all my brothers, man, to always have impulse control. Don't react off of emotion. Sit back, think, and map out all of the different outcomes that could come from this situation. In that moment, it may feel good of you reacting and pulling that trigger. But once it's done, it's done. And now you're calmed down and you think, damn, I really just did this? Did I really just take this person's life? Did I really just throw my life away? All that stuff comes back at you full circle. When you could have been just out the way, working your chill 9-to-5 job, going back home, playing the game, living your boring, mundane life, but you got your freedom. And it's like
and people like to call that life boring or mundane, but you need to realize that you don't need to be extra to like enjoy your life. Niggas enjoy their boring, mundane life, right? You can always turn that life into something grand without using violence or anything negative like this shit. This nigga could have been making YouTube videos. This nigga could have been like, you know, learning something to make himself skill up, or he could have just stayed where he was and just like went through the motions. Shit comes to you when you are out the way. When you are chilling, shit just comes to you. Opportunities bring themselves to you. Good opportunities, bro. They real deal do. But if you don't believe that and you believe the street shit is the way, then that will be the only way for you because it's what you believe, bro. Metaphysics. It always this shit never not doesn't prove itself, bro. This shit is always correct every single time. I can draw it back to one of the principles of metaphysics, bro.
Always appreciate the things when they're gone. Now you in that jail, so you like, damn, bro, I had it so good. You know what I'm saying? I had it so chill. I had my freedom, bro. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I feel for the street dudes, but I can never just throw that freedom away. I love my freedom. Especially brothers that got responsibilities out here, man. God forbid you a father, you got kids, and you know what I'm saying? I just something I couldn't fathom. That's just me personally. Like, I wouldn't do shit to throw that away.
I am a high school algebra teacher in the largest public school district in the state of Tennessee, which also comes with it being the most disenfranchised and impoverished districts in Tennessee, primarily because majority of our student population are Black people. And today I am here to talk about the epidemic, quote unquote, of the YN. And I'm here to talk about it from a teacher's perspective because I can see it, I'm seeing it from the ground and how it's developing, and I can tell kind of where it's going, if that makes sense. In the purpose of conversation, I do not subscribe to the term YN.
Yeah.
I understand that it is a caricature of describing young Black men who might be in trouble or might have like certain decisions that they make due to the circumstances and the environments that they're growing up in. But I do not subscribe to calling young Black men YN. So I wanted to start off.
Yeah, you can't just call any Black dude you see a YN. Yeah, that shit need to stop. I don't know why niggas think it's cool to do that. Like, oh, you're just a YN. No. Intelligent YN, well-spoken YN. No, that's a false. That's a farce, a fallacy. They're trying to get you desensitized to that word. That way they can use it, that same word, when they label you, to put your ass in cuffs. What I need you to understand is that YN shit, don't let it affect you or define you, but also don't subscribe to it. Don't utilize it. Do not wield that word or term lightly. There are people who earn that. This young man did earn that YN title. He earned that for sure. King Von, he earned that for sure. Niggas like that, save it for the ones who actually deserve it, bro. The ones that are actual YNs. You can't just be calling any young Black male you see a YN. Because that's just disgusting. There's something behind that. There's a certain connotation behind that when you do that.
Saying that too. Most of the time when you hear people talk about just where Black people are as a community in today's time, especially the young people, you hear a lot of it being blamed on the parenting, on the system, on the education system, et cetera, and all of those things are true. I think this conversation is a lot more nuanced, and it takes place at the intersectionality of all of it. So, in order to not make this video extremely long, I'm going to actually break this down into 3 parts. In this part, I will talk explicitly about parenting. And the parenting goes back a lot further than I think some people are cognizantly thinking about. The parenting goes back to, especially in the Black community, we're going back to Reaganomics, right? When you have multiple generations of people not being present due to drug abuse, due to mass incarceration, due to the perpetuation of like the welfare state, all of these things, right? They create this kind of like dependency in this environment, and that is kind of what we're seeing the effects of trickled all the way down.
Literally, that's why I say all the time, bro. You have to go back to understand why things are so messed up the way it is now. 400 years of slavery, boom, Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, COINTELPRO killed all the leaders, chemical warfare, heroin, crack, and that trickles down to YN epidemic of 2026, literally. And I hope when she gets into this part about parenting, I want to add this in first. We can go back to capitalism as well. A lot of these parents, they don't have time for their kids because guess what? They have to work. And yes, you could say that they shouldn't have had all these kids in the first place. That is true. That's why you don't just go laying around and sleep with anybody. And that's for men and women. So then they have these babies, and guess what? Kids are expensive as hell. So the parents are at work all day, and sometimes it's just one. The mama, she just working all day. Who gonna watch out there and give attention to this child? He gonna look for it in the streets. He gonna look for it for dudes that's in these gangs. Literally, bro.
I know these things happened 30 plus 40 years ago, but I think now we're starting to see the effects. So with the parenting explicitly, right? Parenting matters so much here because the parents weren't present, right? If we're talking about the crack epidemic and the whole dropping guns and drugs and all of these things into our neighborhoods and completely destroying the Black community, most of the damage of that is because of lack of presence. So you have the original doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, businessmen, these people who were pillars in the community, now addicted to drugs and not able to be present for said community. So when they should have been in the households or in the neighborhoods helping to raise children, helping to show up for children, helping, like, making sure they're going to school, making sure there's somebody that the kids are always taken care of, you have a lot of children who ended up raising themselves or were being raised by their grandparents, which happened to be the boomers at the time. And when you talk about being raised by boomers,
I just don't understand why, like, Black people are so heavily demonized, so heavily villainized, so heavily, like, just crucified universally across the world. This shit is not just in America. Everyone across the world views us the same way, majorly. And it's all thanks to America. Why they view us like that? It's because of America. All of our problems stem from slavery. All of our problems stem from racism. That's just flat out. Racism is what all of our problems stem from. Racism and people not being, like, educated enough. Because they keep the poor whites dumb. If a poor white is dumb enough, he will vote for something that hurts him and hurts us as well. Because he's only seeing it hurt us. He doesn't realize that it also hurts him too. That's what he doesn't realize. That's what the poor whites don't realize. And yet they don't think at the end of every, like, president's term, why didn't my life get better? Because they're poor, they're stupid. And the very same thing can be said about poor Black people, undereducated, stupid. And it's just a culmination of things. It's more of a homunculus as to why things aren't the way they are. Things are the way they are for these young Black men and young Black women. It's because of a trickle-down effect and a culmination, a homunculus of a lot of shit that has just been served to make us out in the worst light possible. And the weak-minded of us will live that prophecy to prove the people who have branded that onto us right. Because they think that is the only way. Because for most of them, that is the only way. That's what they're born into. They have no choice. They are born into a war zone, and then they are fed this shit. And then you have the other half of it being idolized. So then you have Black people, young Black people who are was never in that fucking atmosphere, idolizing it and seeking out that atmosphere. Whatever you seek out, you will have. Wherever you place your energy, you will have. That's a metaphysical principle. So when they're focusing on it and they're idolizing it, that becomes indirectly their goal. And that's where they're being drifted towards, whether they realize it or not. You see it happen with young white people as well, being pulled in that direction because of the idolization of thug culture or the idolization of being a gangster or whatever. It's sad, man. It's really sad.
Or grandparents, now we're talking about permissive parenting, because realistically a grandparent cannot show up in the same ways that your parent can because of different restrictions, whether it be mobility, age, job, all of that, right? There's a reason. So now we have a bunch of teens, children with no authority and nobody to hold them accountable presently because of different restrictions. And then they continue throughout their life without presence, without accountability, without community. And then they race and have their own children. Literally. And because none of that was present during their childhood, they don't know how to do that for the next generation. And then that happened with millennials and the older Gen Zs. And then now we're starting to see like this YN epidemic, quote unquote, because now we're seeing the effects of children who are born to parents who were not raised and who did not have presence in the community. So now this isn't a conversation about people's willingness to parent or their ability to parent. It's about, did they even have a foundation of what good parenting looks like? And I think that is what we're dealing with right now. And a lot of the whole...
Yeah, it's like a domino effect, you know? the bad parents' parents were also bad, which is why the parents that they will breed, if they're not sucked into that life, will also be bad parents. Majority of them will, for the most part, because of, you know, that's just how the numbers work out. And it's very sad to see that. It's very sad to know that that is a reality that people have to deal with.
Of parenting, wanting to be your kids' friends, wanting to level with your kids more, I think is coming more out of the need to not feel how they felt about their parents. All right, so they show up for their kids in ways that don't always encourage discipline, accountability, integrity, et cetera, et cetera. And then how that translates to the progression of like this YN culture is that you have an entire generation of people who are not considerate of others because nobody's teaching them to be considerate, because their parents had to fend for themselves, and sometimes their grandparents, their aunts and uncles all had to fend for themselves. We get this mentality of is you versus everybody. And then when you teach that to a child whose brain is not fully developed, then their children are already selfish in general because that's the natural. Sorry, so now you have a generation of people who are being taught to be individuals and to only think of self. So it is not necessarily that they have the desire to hurt others. It is the fact that they live in selfishness. That's it. It's because they don't have any reference point or any metric of what real morality, compassion, and empathy looks like, because they're being raised by people who had no empathy themselves as children. So how do you teach it if you don't experience it? And I know what you're saying. Some people learn how to do it, some people don't. That's the parenting aspect. I don't think that people are inherently trying not to be good parents. And I also think they're not making good decisions about whether or not they actually want to be parents.
Yeah.
A lot of people have kids who don't actually want to be parents. Yep. And that's another thing that we're seeing.
Shout out to her. She did a great breakdown in part 1. I want y'all to go check out part 2 and 3 on her TikTok page. And to sum up this video, man, the inevitability of street life is death or prison. There's no other way around it. Black community, we gotta wake up, dog. We got so many different forces targeted at us, but at times we seem like our biggest enemies. We gotta build up more community. Let's start greeting and speaking to our brothers more. Like I stated, something that I took upon myself a few years ago was whenever I see another black man, I'm gonna say what's up to him. I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna wave, I'm gonna shake his hand, I'm gonna try to talk to him. I'm 24, man, and I really do want to make a change within the black community, like especially, you know, my age range, all the brothers, because we pretty much the future now. You know what I'm saying? We in charge right now. The youth, they looking up to us. So we got to set the standard. All my brothers, you know what I'm saying? All the YouTubers I see, I've been seeing a lot of more black YouTubers that come online and speak about this shit, bro. And I'm glad that we're able to do this, man. Whether we realize it or not, we do make a little change. Just maybe a smidget. We doing something, man. But no more talking. I have
that smidget compounds into a greater ripple effect that then creates the change that we want to see. Shout out to Antonio, bro. But yeah, guys, black people, my people, anyone who's not black and is seeing this, we all need to be more compassionate and stop looking at our lives. Number one, stop looking at our lives compartmentalized, because once you see your life as a grand culmination of things, and you treat everything equally within your life, you will start to see a whole lot more cohesion within your life. And maybe that will lead to point 2 that I have to make, which is to treat other people better. Black people, I'm speaking specifically to you when you're dealing with other black people. Treat them like you want to be treated, right? There is no solidarity if you are constantly sizing up, because we black men in particular, in our mind, when we see another black person, and I was guilty of this, of doing this in the past, because that's how you're raised. You're taught you against them, you against everyone. You only have yourself, is what you're taught. No matter what race you are, that's what you're taught. But specifically to the black people here, that's not true. All we've had this whole time fighting for us to just have equal rights to the other people who are also people that don't realize that we are also people. That is all we had, was each other and our allies. So we need to treat each other better. We see another black person on the street, we don't size him up and think in our head, I beat this nigga ass, or is he trying to do something? Is he angry? Is he gonna like do something? Even if it's nothing but doing this, giving a quick nod, just do that. All that being said, thanks for watching. We got this, y'all. We got it. black people, black community, we got this. We need to stop all this shit that's holding us back. We need to stop being homophobic, because that's another big thing that holds the black community back. We're not able to accept things as well as other people. We aren't. And I've experienced that firsthand as a femboy lover. You niggas are not that accepting. Not most of you anyway. You're not. And we need to get past that. We need to be more accepting of everything that isn't negative, and we need to be less accepting of things that set us back, like the street life and the thug life and all the shit that represents us in a bad light that turns into real casualties. You know what I mean? I'm not saying for us to completely gentrify our culture. What I'm saying is to have a more keen understanding of what said culture is being turned into, what it can become, what it can be turned into. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a better day than me.